Welcome to Airborne Flight Training. Coming up on this week's episode, United to pause hiring. Allied Pilots Association backs age 65 retirement. Skyborne continues expansion plans with order for 20 Piper 100i aircraft. And I'm your host, Holland Lee. Welcome to Airborne Flight Training, a weekly program dedicated to future aviators and aviation professionals. Airborne Flight Training is brought to you in part by King Schools. King Schools has been leading the effort in producing expert aviation training programs and computer-based learning software for 50 years. Find out why pilots love King teaching at kingschools.com. Now let's get into today's stories. United to pause hiring. United Airlines will pause pilot hiring like its Boeing-family companion, Southwest. United won't be expanding its fleet as planned, leaving it with a large pilot base following its hiring bonanza in 2021 and beyond. Carriers feel they have enough personnel to weather through the rest of the year, even accounting for attrition. United Airlines VP of Flight Operations, Mar Champion, says that new hire classes would be paused in May and June, possibly to resume sometime in July. Champion said, quote, "As you know, United has hundreds of new planes on order, and we remain on a path to be the fastest growing airline in the industry. We just won't grow as fast as we thought we would in 2024 due to continued delays at Boeing. For example, we had contractual deliveries for 80 MAX 10s this year alone, but those aircraft aren't even certified yet, and it's impossible to know when they will arrive," end quote. The carrier was originally expecting to take delivery of 43 new Boeing 737 MAX 8s and 34 MAX 9s, but will ultimately only see a fraction of those deliveries this year. Worse still, the expanded capacity MAX 10 remains in limbo, now years behind schedule as it awaits type certification from the FAA. After these messages, True Simulation snags Naval Sim contract. For 15 years, the Aero-News network has provided live coverage of the annual Aircraft Electronics Association Convention and Trade Show, and we are pleased to do so again this year. Join us March 19th at 8:30 a.m. Central for the AEA opening session and exciting new product introductions, and then again on March 20th and 21st for in-depth interviews with the newsmakers in the avionics industry, live from the exhibit hall floor at airborne-live.net.
If it looks good, it usually flies good. The Bristol series of aircraft is proof of that. Furthering their legacy of safety and efficiency, Bristol is proud to feature the Rotax 915 IS Turbo in the current lineup of aircraft. The 915 IS Turbo power plant offers more power than ever before in a light sport aircraft. Learn more about Bristol at www.sportflyingusa.com.
Welcome back. Now let's take a trip around the patch for some shorter stories. True Simulation snags Naval Sim contract. True Simulation announced the receipt of a multi-engine training system and ground-based training system contract from the Naval Air Warfare Center Training Systems Division. The base award will see them provide a trio of unit training device simulators in a King Air 260 standard configuration, a single operational flight trainer simulator in the METS T-54A configuration, one simulator support station for the METS T-54A sim, and 21 desktop trainers for avionics training. FedEx pilots request release from mediation. FedEx Express pilots have requested that the National Mediation Board release them from mediation. It's quite unlikely a strike would ever come to fruition. Even so, it sends a clear message to FedEx that the pilot base is ready to rock and roll if they're let off the chain by the mediation board. The company has been in negotiation since May 2021, which quickly moved on to federal mediation October 2022. There was one tentative agreement put into place July 2023, but that was rejected. Women of Aviation worldwide celebrates strides. Women of Aviation worldwide celebrated the attainment of female licensure in the Canadian market after seeing it climb to 12% in 2023, with 6,354 female-identifying pilots issued by their domestic regulator, Transport Canada. The near majority of all Canadian licenses were recreational, with 52% coming in at the private pilot level. It's a first step towards future staffing and a 58% uptick since 2010. 65% of those cards were sent to candidates between 20 and 39 years of age. Ansett Aviation Training gains A320 FFS for Middle East market. Ansett Aviation Training signed a purchase agreement for a single AirFox Level D full-flight sim, emulating the Airbus A321ceo and neo models. The sim is expected to be up and running in the third quarter of this year. Its new Dubai home currently houses one of Ansett's ATR 72-600 simulators, allowing them to provide training to commuter lines operating the twin turboprop throughout the Middle East. Ansett's network of training facilities stretches across Australia, Italy, and Taiwan at the moment, offering 27 full-flight sims in the whole collection. That's it for today's trip around the patch. Let's get back to the rest of the news. Allied Pilots Association backs age 65 retirement. The Allied Pilots Association says it believes the pilot supply is, quote, sufficient to meet forecast demand, end quote, so the mandatory Part 121 retirement age of 65 should not be changed. APA President Ed Sicher said, quote, the perceived pilot shortage is over, eliminating any further need for policymakers to consider changing the retirement age, end quote. To further back up their position, the group quoted investor commenter T.D. Cowen, who said they, quote, now believe the demand is fulfilled and expect hiring to normalize in 2024, end quote. Captain Sicher said, quote, safety considerations drove the establishment of the current international standard of age 65 mandatory retirement for pilots. Before making any change to this standard, we need data demonstrating the margin of safety would remain intact. No such data exists, and considering any change to pilot retirement age in the absence of supporting data would be ill-advised. Fortunately, there is no longer any perceived urgency, end quote. The decision isn't too surprising, given the group's opposition to the enhanced qualification program along similar lines. They vehemently oppose changes to the ATP certification standards, namely the 250-hour reduction in flight time required to fly with an RATP cert. The end result, they said, was that 121 flights could end up with the pilot flying, quote, with as few as 500 hours of actual flight experience, end quote. After the break, Skyborne continues expansion plans with order for 20 Piper 100i aircraft.
Well, hello, fellow pilot. I'm John King.
And I'm Martha King.
You know, we've all had our flying lives disrupted lately.
Well, King Schools is here to help you stay up to date with courses that you can access on your desktop, iPad, or iPhone. If you'd like a refresher or just want to expand your aviation horizons, we have a course for you.
So head over to kingschools.com/rusty today for details.
I think it's a very important thing to share the joy and love of flying. Our customers fly to remote places. They use our products to go places that are difficult to get to. Hertz has been an excellent partner for Whip Air, just in terms of your product support, as well as keeping an eye on the market and developing new products that meet demands. And it is that shared experience and the joy of flying that brings us all back and charges all of our batteries up.
Welcome back. Skyborne continues expansion plans with order for 20 Piper 100i aircraft. Piper's trainer-specific iteration of the PA-28 remains popular with Skyborne Airline Academy, with another order for 20 more filling out the manufacturer's order books. The school already has almost a dozen on the books, with an initial order placed in late 2023 as the first element in a multi-year fleet agreement. This newest deal will run about $8 million for Skyborne, buying them even more of the stripped-down, cost-efficient Archer derivative. The Pilot 100i gets rid of the frills of the mainstream Archer, replacing its soft-touch appointments with hard plastic and more resilient interior features. It also sports a more spacious cabin behind the front seats, with an optional third observer seat to add even more room for student gear, and remove the temptation for students to joyride with friends in the back. The Pilot retains the classic Lycoming IO360. Skyborne Managing Director Dan Peterson spoke on the sale, highlighting the fact that the school will use the aircraft to train the next generation of Delta pilots. Quote, "Our top priority is to provide industry-leading equipment to support students through their pilot training. By expanding our Pilot 100i order, we're investing in aircraft we trust to be safe, professional, and reliable as we grow for the future." End quote. And that's our show for today. You can catch episodes of Airborne on YouTube, Roku, or Fire TV. Just search for Aero-News or Airborne, and don't forget to follow us on social media. Thanks for watching!